CreaTV Sports presents an all-San Jose matchup of Blossom Valley Athletic League High School girls volleyball. The Leigh Longhorns enter the Bruin Den tonight to face off against the home team, the Branham Lady Bruins, in Mount Hamilton Division play. Kirsten Fairchild's David Kiefer, good evening. This is the first meeting between the two teams this season. Leigh will look to junior Brooke Jonathans to launch an effective middle attack tonight.
Yeah, at 6'2", she's the tallest player for either team, so she's going to be a key player both offensively and defensively for Leigh.
Branham lists a number of senior starters in its lineup. One is Greta Varvel. She's an outside hitter with an all-around game.
Yeah, she comes from a high-caliber club volleyball program, and she's not only one of the best players on the court, but she's a leader of a very experienced Branham team.
No matter the sport, it's always a rivalry when Leigh and Branham square off. First serve is up next. The Longhorns, the Lady Bruins on CreaTV Sports.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Pacific Office Automation for their generous sponsorship of our coverage of high school sports. It's because of our sponsors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
It was tested and proven that the average American teenager has approximately 210 friends. In comparison, the average American teenager with a disability has approximately 3. And that's where we come in. For those of you who may not know, Best Buddies is essentially a friendship club. And our mission
Very
is
special
to create
evening here at the Bruin Den. This is Best Buddies Autism Awareness Match. Not only is this a rivalry between the Leigh Longhorns and the Branham Bruins, it's a chance to talk about a club that has had a real impact on the kids, both mainstream and special education kids here at Branham. This is Leilani Camara, president of the Best Buddies Club, and Anderson Sim, as well as Jack Park, who will be honorary coaches for tonight's match.
Warren Hogan, Sammy Alvin, and Samuel Ford. And last but not least, I'd like to say thank you to my amazing advisors who I'd like to bring down here, Ms. Heather Cooper and Charlene Hernandez. Because without them, none of this would be possible. All right, and now it is my honor to introduce not only one of our own buddies, but the honorary coach of the night, Mr. Anderson Sim, and his partner, Samuel.
Hello, my name is Anderson. I am in Best Buddies. My best buddy is Hannah. I love my Best Buddy Club because I get to meet new people and make new friends from Branham and Leigh High School. My favorite Best Buddy activity is dancing with my friends at the Best Buddy Prom. And thank you.
So again, a very special night. Very special night here at the Bruin Den on Branham High School. Again, this is Best Buddies Autism Awareness Match. Best Buddies is an international organization bridging the gap between mainstream and special needs students. It's a wonderful organization, and Heather Cooper, the head coach of Branham Volleyball, is a co-advisor for this club. She's a special needs teacher here, and that was a very short speech, but an opportunity for friends to come here and root on this volleyball match. And we are going to have the national anthem now. Mercedes Long to sing the national anthem.
But so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Land of the free and the home of the brave.
Mercedes Long.
Mercedes Long, Branham High student on a special night. Kirsten Fairchilds alongside David Kiefer. David, Branham really does know how to put on a special event.
Starting with
Breast
the
cancer awareness.
Leigh non-starters.
Highlights of the season for us. They just
A
so
senior
considerate
#1,
and very
Natalia
friendly and just will
Lemoy.
do anything for you. And they really make these matches an event.
A junior
You know, I think last
#5,
year there was
Emma
they were
O'Malley.
honoring like a breast cancer awareness night. And they
A
brought in
junior
some
number 9,
players who
Morgan
have been
Pangburn.
touched by breast cancer with a relative or something like that, and or a friend. And you know,
Junior
here
number 10, Kendra
they're
Shapiro.
honoring the Best Buddies program, which is a great opportunity for
And they junior number 12,
as Heather Cooper
Brianna
describes it, to bridge
Francis.
the gap between the able-bodied students and those with special
Branham
needs. And
non-starters.
it's just a great atmosphere.
A senior number
Yeah,
6,
and here on
Ashley
such a
Garland.
rivalry night, so a big thanks to everyone. I know we've been educated
Hey, junior
about
number
Best
8,
Buddies.
Grace
I think we
Eubank.
heard the president say that the average high schooler
Hey,
has
sophomore number
215
Courtney
friends,
Simorock.
but that's not necessarily the case when it comes to
Hey,
special
freshman number
needs
17,
students, and
Holly
Best Buddies Club is a
Dion.
way of kind of expanding that circle.
Yeah, and
Freshman
Heather
number
Cooper,
20,
the Branham coach, was describing
Estelle
how
Pinal.
this program has really taken off in the past
Freshman
3
number
years or
28,
so,
Seneca
and
Lynn.
it's really become a really popular group on campus.
The host team, the Branham Bruins,
And
they've got a
the
lot of
lead
experience.
starters, head
Sydney
coach Matt Largo,
Lindsay and Casey
assistant
Stanley,
coach
the
Johnny
middles.
Jones.
Varvel, as we spoke about. Sydney Voss, the outsides. Lauren Hogan, the right side
And
hitter.
senior
Megan
number 2,
Fulcher is the
Jessica
libero. And
Merrill.
Hannah Heon is the setter. Last year when we were here, Hannah
And
Heon
senior
was
number
our
3,
featured player
Charlotte
last year.
Fire.
Just goes to show how much experience Branham has
number
this
6,
year as we take a look at Leigh High School. The Leigh Longhorns bringing a 7-8 overall record into this match. 2-4 in league play. They've lost a lot of close matches. We talked about the middle, the 6'2" Brooke Jonathans, but Hannah Mapes, the sophomore, the only underclassman on this Leigh roster. She is a star in the making. Outsides today, Jessica Moress and Megan Kursman. Charlotte Viner will hit opposite. Laura Claude, the setter, and Serena Bonafide, the libero. Even though Leigh is young, they actually have freshmen on their roster. They have experience as well, and they've got a lot of natural ability.
Yeah, you know, they have a really strong group, especially defensively, serve, receive. That's what Coach Matt Largo was describing as the strengths of the team. So look for them to look for Leigh to really create something out of the back passing, the serve receive. And Branham is kind of the opposite. I think their strengths are their hitting, their offense. And if they have maybe a weakness, it might be in serve receive.
Well, as they say, defense wins championships. That certainly applies to a number of sports, including the sport of volleyball. Sometimes it all comes down to passing. Branham High bringing a 10-5 overall record in this match. They're 3-3 in league. Now Westmont and Leland are atop the standings in Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Hamilton Division. Leigh is tied for 6th with Piedmont Hills. Branham is in a tie for 4th with Evergreen Valley. There's so much parity in this Mount Hamilton division this year. We'll talk about that as this match goes on. But the pre-match festivities coming to a close here, David. And of course, high school volleyball, best 3 out of 5. First to 25, win by 2 for the 4 sets. There is a 5th and decisive set. It'll go to 15, win by 2.
Yeah, Branham pulled off really the upset of the year so far. On October 2nd, Westmont had really dominated last year, going undefeated. They carried a 28-match league winning streak into their contest with Branham, and Branham knocked them off. And so I think that's an indication of maybe a little bit more parity in the league, although I still think that Westmont and Leland are maybe a cut above the rest. But still, I think it gave Branham a lot of confidence. And I think maybe just about every other team a little bit of confidence too, because it seems like all those other spots are up for grabs, and it'll be interesting to see how Branham has kind of been riding that momentum from that victory.
Leigh wearing their traveling forest green with white numbers and piping black briefs, and the Branham Bruins in their home navy blue with white numbers. The liberos on each team will be wearing the opposite jersey, if you will. The Leigh libero wearing a white top, Branham powder blue, and it will be the senior setter, the 5'7" Hannah Heon. To serve first, Branham serving Leigh right to left. We're underway. Setting the middle, and a little tentative there by Brooke Jonathan's 1-0 Branham.
Yeah, you know, Hannah Heon, you talked a little bit about how experienced she is. She was an all-league player last year, second team all-league, so she is a leader for this group, and getting Branham off to a really good start at 2-0.
As Heon, her younger sister, is on the team as well. We'll see if we see her in action tonight. Some problems in serve receive for Leigh. Punched over, but wide, 3-0.
And we haven't really seen the ball go over the net. They haven't really had any kind of a crisp passing exchange in the back for Leigh.
Jonathan swings away again and into the net on Jonathan's, and Coach Matthew Largo up on his feet talking to his back row. Both of our head coaches tonight are in their 6th year with the program. That's some very good stability for these schools. Leigh looking to get on the scoreboard. Left side attack. Passes there. Heon. Back set, right side, sharp angle, and that is a kill. So right now, everything going Branham's way. And Coach Largo has to call a timeout. Leigh a little jittery, little uncertain, and trailing 5-0 to Branham in what is the final match of the first round of round-robin play. This is the final night. They'll have one more go around at all the teams before league play is over.
Yeah, and you know, this isn't something that I don't think that the coaches stress necessarily, but 5 teams in the Mount Hamilton division will go on to CCS playoffs, and so this match could really be a swing match for to get in those top 5 spots, or to really secure a better position.
This broadcast would not be possible without Pacific Office Automation, thank you so much for your generous support, your sponsorship of this broadcast, and your support of high school athletics. Both of these schools, Leigh and Branham, so appreciative to be on CreaTV Sports Tonight. Out of the timeout, free ball for Leigh. Here comes Jonathan's, and with a little stronger swing, Leigh does exactly what their coach wants out of the timeout, and that is side out and get a point on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think that was really the first real strong exchange in passing and setting and hitting that we've seen from Leigh so far.
Jessica Merce with the serve for the Longhorns. Out of the back row. Hitting error. And Leigh's 2 in a row. Jessica Maris, the 5'5" senior outside. This is her 3rd year on the Leigh varsity. Heon setting the middle. Block was there by Jonathan. Actually, they're going to say 4 hits on Branham's side. And Leigh within 2. Free ball again for the Longhorns. Left side attack. Coming over. Jonathan, she's got that frame that reminds me of the fawn, of the deer. Perhaps not completely done growing, but great anticipation there and using her height advantage for sure. A chance to tie it for the Longhorns.
This reminds me of the Giants-Cardinals, where the Giants got a big lead. The Cardinals tied it up, and it's just what's happened here with this match tonight. And now Leigh's taking lead, 6 consecutive points.
Exactly that, but I don't think we're coming down to a bunt and an errant throw by the pitcher, but exactly that. We're all tied up at 5.
5, excuse me.
Brill, you see the passing problems in serve receive for Branham. Left side attack, nope, going with the middle. And it's the left-handed Brooks Jonathan, the 6'2" junior in her 2nd year as a varsity starter.
You could see how the whole offense is centered around her. I mean, every ball seems to be going through her.
Heon tried to go dump, stayed on her feet, and Matthew Largo, sometimes when you see a coach call a timeout so early in the match, you think pundits think, are you just let the girls work it out themselves. His timeout, excellent decision. They're on a 7-point run. Libera gets to swing away. It's a good one. Free ball for the Lady Bruins. Bump set. Another free ball. Jonathan's coverage is there. Heon, back set, right side attack. And finally, Heon's with a big stomp of her foot as Lauren Hogan, the senior, with a kill from the right side, side out.
Well, yeah, they really needed that just to stop the bleeding a little bit.
First ace of the match, courtesy of Sydney Voss, the 5'7" sophomore.
Yeah, I was going to mention about the timeouts. I don't think there's any other sport, as much as volleyball, where timeouts can completely stop momentum. I don't know if there's...
I guess basketball may be the only, but
yeah,
not even then, right?
It seems like volleyball even more so.
Megan Kurtzman has been swinging well from the left side for Leigh. A kill for her there as Jonathan's has a seat. And in to serve is Kendra Shapiro, wearing number 10, the 5'3" junior. She also sees time at Librero, and she leads this team in terms of aces. She has 15 on the season. Free ball for the Longhorns. And it's the other middle getting in on the action, the 5'8" sophomore, Hannah Mapes.
Yeah, pretty balanced hitting now for Leigh. They've really kind of created a nice little balance there, and especially because you know, they need to with Jonathan's off the floor right now.
Coming over. And Mapes was there. So strong serving, as we see, by Shapiro.
And for Branham, we really haven't seen Varvel get into the hitting action. She just moved up to the front row, but let's see if they can set her up because she's really their top option.
And some communication issues for Branham, and Heather Cooper again in her 6th year as head coach for the Lady Bruins calls a timeout, trailing at home in the first set 11-7 in Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Hamilton division play. Thank you so much to Councilmember Donald Rocha for his generous donation to allow CreaTV Sports to be here for this very special night and this rivalry match. Thank you so much, Councilmember Donald Rocha. Both of these schools are in his district, and thank you for his support, his donation to allow us to bring you Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Hamilton Division Girls Volleyball. I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. Thank you for tuning in here on this Tuesday night. We had West Catholic Athletic League Volleyball for you last week. Mount Hamilton Division play here. Branham looking for anything here out of the timeout, and the off speed pays off for the Bruins. Point side out Branham.
Yeah, you know, this match is a match of momentum with a 5-point run to start the game for Branham, then an 11-2 run for Leigh. I think the Bruins would like to start one the opposite direction now.
Varvel gets to swing, coming over. Great coverage by Leigh. Seeing some broken down plays. Good hustle by the Longhorns. Free ball for Branham. We've seen some scrappy defense here. Run in the middle, going off speed. Great coverage again. Varvel looking to end it. She does. Most entertaining point of the match. That's a point that will give coaches fits.
And then we finally saw, you know, what happens when Greta Varvel can get a good opportunity to hit, and I think that's something that Branham's going to continue to try to push, is getting her involved.
Strong serve by Lindsay. Mapes from the middle. Dug by Heon. Great plays off the net by Leigh thus far. And you see a kind of a little, almost an apology from Natalia LeBoy wearing number 1 on that swing. That barely cleared the net.
It works. Whatever works. You know, Branham with a size advantage here that let's see if they can take advantage of. But didn't matter there with the ace.
Untouched ace by Leigh.
That was Emma Oneto.
Oneta, 5'3" junior. Varvel from the middle, and you see that swing. It's an experienced swing as Branham with the point.
And we mentioned it a little bit earlier in the open about how she played high-level club volleyball. She plays for the Vision Volleyball Club. Last year she played with the 16 Blue team, which would be like their B team for the 16-year-olds, but very tough to get on that club, and her experience is really key to Branham's chances here.
Jessica Moretz is going to return for the Longhorns as Megan Kurtzman, called by her head coach, the best server on this Leigh squad, goes to work. Her team up by 4. Mapes trying to punish the overpass, and Branham into the net as Hannah Heon could not stop her momentum. It's a 5-point advantage for the Leigh Longhorns. Libero gets to swing away again, doesn't clear. It's a 16-10 lead.
Yeah, more trouble when Kurtzman serves in that Branham defense. Both times, some real problems.
Short serve, that's a tough one, and it's an ace.
And that's 3 times that Branham hasn't even been able to really have anything out of serve receive with Kurtzman serving.
Better pass. Varvel from the right side. Off speed for the kill. She has shown, and we talked about on the open, she is an all-around player, can hit from anywhere on the floor. She's back to serve now Her team trailing 17-11. Overhead pass. Mapes times it perfectly. Bit of pinball on the Branham side. Coming over. What effort from both teams. You know, this is an electric atmosphere in here tonight in the Bruin Den. The Bruin Den really living up to its name.
Yeah, nice crowd, great enthusiasm. Yeah, it's really a fun place to be for volleyball.
As Libero Benefiti serving, her team up by 7. And the block, our first big-time block of the match, and it is courtesy of Laura Claude. As Jonathan's back into the front row alongside her, Branham needs to stop the bleeding. Varvel behind the 10-foot line. Doug. That's a double. First double of the match as we get a chance to introduce our officiating crew. Referee number 1, John Angel. And down on the floor, referee number 2, Michael Hertzfeld.
I probably would have classified before the match Branham being maybe a slight favorite, but Leigh's very impressive with the way they play defense.
First service error of the match, and it's a 20-12 lead for Leigh, which couldn't have started worse. Down 5-0 in a blink of an eye. Want to know what Coach Largo said to them in that timeout as Claude to serve. Heon goes dump. Maris with the kill.
Yeah, it's, you know, this Leigh team has been just a little history. They've been part of the Mount Hamilton division for 11 consecutive years, which is probably more than any other school other than maybe Leland. This is the second year for Branham in the Mount Hamilton, which is the A division of the Blossom Valley League. And there's a reason why Leigh is here for that long. They're a pretty solid program. Branham, though, looks like they're a team that's an upstart and really trying to establish themselves, and plays like Sydney Lindsay's block there is a good way to do that.
Along with Sydney Voss, the Sydneys on the block. Branham trailing 21-13. Leigh goes off speed. Heon is there. Free ball for the Longhorns. Jonathan's hitting error. Is this what Branham needs to work their way back? As Hannah Heon, best server, 19 aces on the season coming into this match. Jonathan swings away again, and that's great. As a setter, you want to get the ball right back to your go-to hitter when she's made an error.
Yeah, you know, again, Leigh's doing a really great job of funneling the ball to the people that they want to be hitting, and very efficient with their build-up.
Jessica Maris serving.
Maris serving, her team 3 points away from securing set number 1. Branham runs the middle. Block is there. Played off the net. And what great stick-to-itiveness by Sydney Lindsay, but I have to comment again, Leigh is doing a great job playing balls off the net tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and they seem to have a pretty good plan in place for beating this Branham team.
Left side attack by Leigh. Block is there. Goes again. Heon. Varvel blocked, and it's in there as Jonathan celebrates. She had some help on that, but she certainly makes her presence known when she's in the middle, but she is going to sub out as Shapiro in to replace her.
She's already got 3 blocks in the first set. So you can see how Jonathan's is such an impact player, both offensively and defensively for Leigh.
23-15. Varvel. And you heard the oohs and ahs from the Branham fans. They love it.
Definitely a polished hitter.
Sydney Lindsay
A lot of ground to make up for Branham, though. 23-16.
Free ball for the Bruins. And Branham coming back. They still have a ways to go.
Yeah, Lauren Hogan kind of off balance a little bit. The set wasn't the greatest, but she found that deep corner, squeezed it in perfectly for the point.
Sydney Lindsay serving.
And ouch, service error, the second from Branham, and it's set point
Leigh.
for Leigh.
Leigh returns number 5, Emma Oneto.
So Oneto has an ace earlier, will be serving here on set point.
Left side attack. And Branham problems on that set, and Leigh captures set number 1, 25-17. It is a very special evening here at the Bruin Den as Charlene Hernandez, the co-advisor of the Best Buddies Club, here with me. And let me find out if we're going to a break or let's go to a break, and we'll come back and visit with Charlene Hernandez and learn more about why this night is so special here at Branham.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Councilmember Donald Rocha for his generous contribution towards the coverage of high school sports. It's because of our contributors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
Welcome back to the Bruin Den. I'm joined now by Charlene Hernandez, the co-advisor of the Best Buddies Club. Charlene, thank you so much for joining us. It's a very special night here at the Bruin Den. Tell us a little bit about the Best Buddies Club and your and Heather Cooper, the head coach of Branham's, role with the club.
Yeah, so I am the special education teacher here at Branham, which I serve for the students with moderate to severe disabilities. Best Buddies Club is that club that kind of connects our students with the general ed students. And basically the main goal of the club is to create those one-on-one friendships and kind of fill in that gap where our kids don't feel isolated or excluded from the rest of the high school.
And about this event tonight, as we have some students, we're on camera as well, but we also have some of the members of the club out on the floor hitting a beach ball around. Tell us about this night here tonight.
Well, why this night is so special is, one, me and Heather Cooper work hand in hand. She's my classroom aide, and you know, she has a love for volleyball. I played college basketball, and so I do have a passion for sports. So we've always, in the last 3 years, we've kind of talked about how can we bring sports involved with our kids. And so we've talked about, you know, creating our own league, maybe creating maybe a tournament, or you know, their own league within the high school. And Cooper said, hey, you know, why don't we bring awareness to the kids? Because my own goal with our kids is not only to educate and provide education for my students, but also how can I impact or make a difference with the general ed. And so really is to educate our kids, because once they graduate, you know, they will come encounter with students, somebody with a disability, either through work, through school, through college, through their own family life. And so how can I prepare them and, you know, really be sensitive to other people and those that are disabilities. And so this club and this night is really just educating our kids and know that, hey, we all are a little bit different and we all can learn the same way or with different, you know, with different modalities, and that's what I wanted to provide for our kids.
Well, thank you so much. I know on behalf of the CreaTV Sports crew, I know we've all received a bit of an education tonight, and what a wonderful organization Best Buddies are. And congratulations.
I appreciate
for
you
you
guys
on such a terrific event. Charlene
Thank
Hernandez,
you.
Thank you so much.
Joining
us here today, as David Kiefer and I turning our attention now to set number 2. Thank you, Charlene. And again, she and Heather Cooper, the co-advisors of the Best Buddies Club here at Branham High. Best Buddies International, it's an international organization. You can learn more about it at www.bestbuddies.org. And David, anything you care to say about what Charlene?
Just, I think a few years ago I had an opportunity to work at a center for autistic kids, and I worked there for about 3 years before I got back into journalism. And it was such an amazing, eye-opening experience for me, and I learned so much. And I think as in the future, I became a far better parent because of my experience in dealing with the kids that I had the opportunity to work with.
Back to action here. Leigh serving 1-0, and now 1 point for the Leigh Longhorns as Laura Claude, the senior setter, serving. She's played well here in the start of this match, and we see Jonathan's a little more aggressive, and that's, David Kiefer, that's something head coach Matthew Largo said. His team sometimes is too polite with one another.
Yeah,
they don't want to take anyone else's ball or invade their space.
Yeah, he said they have really strong skills, but they have to be a little bit more aggressive, and you could see the skill level. I think that's the big advantage that Leigh has over Branham right now, is the fact that they're doing the right things from a passing side, the defense side. For the most part, they're doing it better than Branham.
Long point here, long rally, and it goes the way of Branham. So the Branham Lady Bruins again, 10-5 overall coming into this match, 3-3 in league. A huge win over Westmont. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We've spoken about it a little bit, but we'll get into that as a hitting error by Leigh. And Branham ties it up as Hannah Heon, the senior setter, floor captain. She's averaging 5.5 assists per set. I think Hannah is going to need to get some better passing from her teammates to really be effective tonight. Hitting error by Jonathans as Branham takes a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, one of the best descriptions that Heather Cooper told us about her team and why it has been successful this year. She said it was, in quotes, drama-free, and I love that. And she says they're really cohesive as a group. They really get along. There's no outsiders, and so she feels like that. Just their teamwork is a big reason why this team is special.
And Coach Matthew Largo calling a timeout. His team trailing 4-2, and Kirsten Fairchild's David Kiefer, thank you for joining us for CreaTV Sports coverage of this Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Hamilton division match. Again, Westmont and Leland tied for first place, each with 5 wins and 1 loss, but perhaps a bit of a surprise was that it was Branham that handed Westmont the loss. Please comment on this after I thank our sponsor, Pacific Office Automation. Thank you so much for sponsoring CreaTV Sports coverage of Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Division play. Thank you, Pacific Office Automation. We would not be here without your generous sponsorship. Out of the timeout, Heon serving. Setter really has to travel, and it's free ball for the Bruins. Heon well off the net. A bit of a shoot set over to her left side hitter. Jonathans with the left hand of a bit of a forehand, and very capably done by Sydney Lindsay.
Yep, on the thought that you brought up earlier, this is the second year for Branham in the Mount Hamilton division, and I think it was really an important they could have gone down to the Santa Teresa because of the way they finished last year in league, but they chose to really make a push to stay up, and the fact that they lost only 2 seniors, they felt like this would be a better opportunity for them to do well at this top level, and so it was important for Heather and the team to stay up here, and I think that that's been really big for their sense of belonging, that they belong at this level, and kind of their overall play and confidence.
What a rally we've got going on here. Coming over, and it's the Branham middle. Sydney Lindsay who's really stepped it up here in set number 2.
Yeah, back-to-back kills for them. That's huge because they need another weapon up there besides Varvel. They need to get some other people involved in the offense.
Heon serves again. Jonathans really sized that up, gave her defense time to react. Going line, and it's wide. Branham on a run thanks to the serving of Hannah Heon And the play of the front row. Jonathan's didn't clear, 4 hits.
Well, I guess the timeout, the words of wisdom of the timeout from Matthew Largo didn't quite go as far this time around as they did in the first set. I'm sure they were amazing anyway.
As Leigh, the wheels coming off a bit, hitting error by Charlotte Viner.
They just don't look like they're maybe on balance when they're hitting with Leigh's frontline players. They don't seem to be really getting the type of hitting that they want.
Third service error of the match for Branham as Leigh gets Ian off the service line. Natalia LeBoy in to serve.
Yes, that ended an 8-point run, an 8-0 run for Branham.
Jonathan's block is there. Played by the Branham libero. Sharp angle. Block is there. And a last-minute decision for a bump over. Peon. Here comes Jonathan's. Left side attack. And it's Sydney Voss who leads this team when it comes to serving. The sophomore getting it done with her hitting.
Yeah, somehow that squeezed through. Another timeout for Leigh. See if this has a better chance at changing the tide a little bit for the Longhorns.
Best Buddies
long rallies. It's actually very cold, potentially raining outside. It is hot and humid. It's like an oven in this gym. There is a lot of heat coming off these players as they are scrambling. They are playing some really
rewarding job.
You know, I like the fact that in the Branham huddle, they're bringing in 2 of the Best Buddy kids into the huddle with the team as Coach Heather Cooper gives the instructions.
That's right. That was one of our honorary coaches, Jack Clark. He's wearing the shorts. There's Jack with the glasses. In fact, a number of these players for Branham are very intricately involved in this Best Buddies club. And we'll talk a little bit about more, but Sydney Voss, who's serving, she is the events coordinator for the Best Buddies Club, and she's serving now. Her team up 10-3. Another free ball for the Lady Bruins. Varvel with her other hand, a backhand. Varvel this time with the right hand, too much, and Leigh will have a chance to sub some folks in, including the sophomore middle hitter Hannah Mapes, and also as well it's Kendra Shapiro in the junior to serve. Free ball for the Bruins. Right side attack. Good coverage. Not in position for a second touch, and Branham gets the ball right back.
Yeah, they went to Lauren Hogan that time. Several options available, and all would have been probably just as equally good, but Hogan puts it away.
Fourth service error for the match for Branham. Leigh has no service errors as Emma Onetta in to serve. Leigh trailing 11-5, but up 1-0. Heon has to travel. Leigh runs the middle with Mapes. They're saying it's in there for the point. The Leigh fans love it.
Yeah, just squeezed inside the sideline. You know, I think we expected a close match between these two teams because they really, on paper, look pretty even, and it's definitely proving to be true so far.
Varvel behind the 10-foot line. Varvel again. Chance for Leigh. Good passing. Sets up Mapes. Punched up by Heon. Bump set. Here goes Varvel. Shoves it over. Another chance for Leigh. Mapes swings again. Played off the net by Branham. Great dig in the back row. Here comes Varvel. Nope. As Leigh wins one of these long points, perhaps that's just the spark this Longhorn squad needed here in set 2.
Maybe. I thought Heon did a really good job of getting that serve up in a good position for Varvel, but she just wasn't able to capitalize.
Left side attack. A little net never hurt anyone. Megan Kurtzman with the kill.
And all of a sudden, it's a 3-point game.
Netta serves away. Right side attack by the Lady Bruins. So the left side attack for Leigh with Kurtzman is working, and the Longhorns within 2.
I was going to say, it doesn't always look very orthodox. But it was definitely effective.
Varvel swings away, and that is just pure athleticism that got that ball over the net.
Yes, Varvel right now is the match's kill leader with 5.
Number 10, Lauren Hogan serving.
Branham still up by 3. That's an errant set. Great spear by Varvel. Calling off the setter, libero, nice swing. Good pass for the Longhorns, Mapes. Shoved over by Branham. Mapes. These points are longer and longer, and Mapes perhaps a little weary bit of a leap.
I like the fact that Megan Fulcher of Branham, the libero, got a swing. How often does that happen? You see a libero actually have a chance to score a point.
Yeah, she swung away at it as well. Mapes called into duty again. Perfect time for Heon. She fist pumps. As Branham now back out in front again by 5.
It's the all-league second teamer last year, Mount Hamilton division, is Hannah Heon.
Right side attack. Branham runs the middle, and they're going to say 4 hits. As the Leigh bench comes to life. Maris returns to the front row for the Longhorns, and it's Brianna Francis wearing number 12, the 5'1" junior defensive specialist, in to serve.
Number 11, Burke Jonathan.
Mapes got a bit on the block, but one of the rare times tonight Leigh has not been able to play it off the net.
Yeah, and Ashley Garland almost was surprised that she had the ball. It looked like she wasn't quite ready for that to swing there, but she made the most of it and got the point.
An ace for Varvel. Second of the match for Branham.
Jump serve.
Mapes. Good read by the Bruins. Left side attack. The Barrow's there. That's playable. Varvel. And a bit of communication breakdown. That's outside the antenna by Leigh. Well, I think if Coach Largo was worried about his team being too polite, I don't think that's the case tonight. In fact, the lack of communication is still there. People are getting in, wearing each other's tennis shoes tonight. As Mapes with some hitting errors here. Of course, Leigh would like to get Jonathan's back into the front row, but Varvel continues to serve.
Yeah, you just don't see too many players at this level with the jump serve, and it seems to be hard for Leigh to handle.
Hitting error by the Longhorns.
Point, Lady Bruin.
As Varvel stretching this Branham advantage. Great There was a great reaction. What plays by Leigh to keep the ball alive? Another dig in the back row. This would be a huge point for Leigh's confidence.
I like the fact that Oneto for Leigh really kept the point alive. Did a great job there. Some good recovery back and forth to keep that rally going.
Serena Bonafide, the 3-year varsity player, serving for the Longhorns. Jonathan's into the front row and makes her presence felt right away. Jonathan's.
I think that was the difference, was the effort on that swing by Leigh as opposed to Branham, as far as just the really going for it. And I think that you're seeing Jonathan's a little bit different player than we saw at the beginning of the match, where she was a little bit tentative.
It's the first service error by Leigh tonight.
Sydney Lindsay returns.
As it allows Branham to reach the 20-point mark.
Ashley Garland serving.
Ashley Garland, the 5'9" senior middle blocker, serving. Varvel plays it. Dug by Leigh, and Jonathan seemed uncertain that was for her. Causes problems anyways. Free ball for the Longhorns. Jonathan gets the set she wants.
I think
Branham doesn't have an answer.
The previous go-around there, I think she expected to, she was going for the set, and there's a little bit of miscommunication. She let it go to a teammate, but then the next time around she really unloaded and helped Leigh's cause.
And a hitting error by the Bruins.
Point Leigh.
And Leigh, Branham's going to check Casey Stanley in, as Sydney Lindsay will have a seat.
Casey Stanley.
Lee's running a 6-2 offense, and Laura Claude is back in to serve and set for the Longhorns. Jonathan's going to win the joust. Nope. Well, she won the joust, but Branham plays it off the net to keep it alive. Jonathan's. And that is wide. So Branham inch by inch. Can the Longhorns, Leigh, can the Longhorns inch their way back? Now only trailing by 5.
They seem to be able to put some points together, as we've seen. And it just seems like Branham's just a little bit out of whack a little bit offensively.
Claude has served well tonight. She's listed as 5'4". Actually, to me, appears taller than that. Viner swings away. Heon goes dump. She had to. There was no way she was going to be able to set that ball. That is the experience of Hannah Heon. Branham with the point.
Yeah, especially with her back to the net and still knowing that there was a spot that she could get it to.
Jonathan's dug by Varvel. Free ball for the Longhorns, trailing by 5. Up one set to none. They say that cleared, and hitting error by Leigh. I'm not sure it did clear. As Heon has shown, she can string points together when she's at the service line.
Yeah, she's extremely valuable in that spot.
Jonathan's. She's much better when she is in the situation where she can take a few steps before her swing.
You know, I noticed that Branham is really, they haven't had a good swing for a long, you know, they're not getting points off their swings, and they seem to be very tentative in trying to take them.
Leigh trailing by 5. Heon again has to dump, but I think they're going to say she was into the net.
But that's another
Oh,
example.
no, actually, sorry. Back row setter on the call on he, and she did have to leave her feet.
But that seems to be the way that they're getting the ball over the net. It's not in system. It's all just kind of dinks and dunks and things like that.
Second service error for Leigh as Branham 2 points away from evening this match. It's Sydney Voss who leads this team in serving percentage, 97.8. And an untouched ace thanks to the confusion in the back row, or the lack of action in the back row. Set point Branham. Jonathan's. Back set from Heon. Jonathan's. Barra gets to swing away again, and it's long. Set point number 2 for Branham as Jonathan's rotates out. Shapiro replaces her, and Shapiro is going to have to serve this set to a tie. Her team trailing 19-24. Heon almost running into her teammate. Varvel for the win. Greta Varvel with the kill, and we have got a match at the Bruin Den. Leigh took set 1, 25-17. Branham comes storming back 25-19, set number 3. When we return, you're watching CreaTV Sports.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Pacific Office Automation for their generous sponsorship of our coverage of high school sports. It's because of our sponsors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
For those without.
Mount Hamilton division play, Branham in blue, Leigh in green, and the Bruins got off to a great start to this match.
Yeah, you know, Greta Varvel was a key player for Branham. She was getting some nice swings. Her teammates were getting into the act a little bit. Nice little tip there to get another point, and they were able to. Branham was able to build a big enough lead where even when Leigh did come back, like the ace there by Oneta, it still wasn't enough. Nice blocking there. Jonathan's was a big factor. You know, she has 5 kills and 3 blocks so far tonight.
Autism awareness.
But eventually, you know, Branham was able to just kind of keep Leigh far enough at bay to be able to pull out the set, and nice finish there by Varvel to even the match up at 1 set apiece.
One of her kills for Branham, as this is in the second set. We saw a lot of improvisation, I think, when it came to plays breaking down, but you had to admire the teams moving their feet and adjusting to when things don't go exactly right with bump set hit volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of you know, some of the things that make each team good when they are successful. I mean, Leigh has some pretty good skills, like the coach had told us beforehand. You could see that they are able to kind of create some things. And Branham probably depends on their serving and probably the hitting of Varvel probably more. But it's a pretty good duel between Varvel and with Jonathan's of Leigh. I think they're both probably 2 of the top hitters in the Mount Hamilton division. And Jonathan's there with a nice kill.
Leigh running that 6-2 offense as we see Varvel swinging away from the left side to even this match up at 1 set apiece. Oh, Here we are. Yes, we are on camera.
So one of the things that
no, I was just going to say, you know, Leigh hasn't run one slide play with Jonathan's. I think one of the things, you know, going forward to the second part of round robin play is they camouflage a little bit. It's so obvious when they're going to Jonathan's, and I think Jonathan's perhaps seems sometimes surprised that she's getting to swing away again. I'd like to see them run a few more plays to take advantage of Jonathan's.
Yeah, I mean, she's, you know, with her height, I mean, 6'2", and we talked about it earlier that she's the only player over 6 feet on the floor. You know, she's able to really do some things that nobody else here can do, and has some mismatches, and she's a lot more aggressive hitting-wise as the match has gone along. You see her, you know, really kind of more of a take charge, although that was, you know, maybe not as hard of a swing as we would like to see. But yeah, you know, she's definitely kind of the key player on that Leigh team.
Shapiro with the dig for Leigh. Long opening point, set number 3. We're all tied up at 1 set apiece. Left side attack, too much. Point Branham as Hean skips back to serve again.
Point Branham.
You know, this probably doesn't mean much, but last year Branham played in the CCS playoffs. They played Woodside. They lost in 3, but they had that experience of getting to CCS, and I think that's something for, you know, most of them having almost every player back, only losing 2 seniors. They probably will give them a little bit more motivation knowing that they've been there. They probably feel like they can perform even better this time around, and I think they'll be in a better position place-wise in their league to maybe get a better seed and things like that.
Jonathan's couldn't end the point where they're hitting, but she did with her blocking. Tied up at 1 as Maris with the serve. And that's playable. Free ball for the Longhorns. Coming over, and that's great anticipation by Sydney Voss. I think Sydney Voss has had a pretty effective match thus far.
Yeah, I mean, she's, you know,
She's
not a big kid, but she's had some nice serves, a couple nice hits, you know, nice effort getting up there and leading to that point.
Viner, she was pretty involved in that comeback in the early part of the set number 1. You'd like to see her as the opposite. I really think she should be getting a lot more looks.
I think it would help Leigh to be versatile and to have an attack come from different directions, definitely. And you know, they have some players that look like they could swing. I mean, that was a nice swing there from Mapes. Didn't go in there, but you know, they have some players that look like they know what they're doing from a hitting perspective.
3-2, Leigh leads. Farvel wanting it, going line. We've not seen a lot of down-the-line swings from either team tonight. That was well done by Varvel.
A nice top spin on that, too. Even though there's a touch, it really didn't have a chance to get that ball back up in the air.
Casey Stanley serving. All tied up at 3 in set 3. Right side attack, Viner. Mapes reaches back and puts it where no one was. Hannah Mapes with the kill.
That was great placement. And, you know, this is going to be kind of obviously the third set when it's tied 1-1 is always really the key, and it's interesting to see how these teams react.
Bit of confusion there between the Librero and Varvel as the Longhorns 5-3 as Onetta's serving. The junior. Shank and serve receive. Free ball for the Lady Bruins. Heon with the back set. And a bit of celebration from the right side hitter, Lauren Hogan, the 5'7" sophomore, as Hogan skips back to serve.
That was beautiful beautiful set for her. And also, you know, really she got a nice little run up. And even with the block, she was able to pound it right through it.
Ashley Garland with the block from the left side, tied up at 5. Really, everyone's contributing tonight on both sides of the net. These two teams obviously evenly matched. And once again, Garland, they're going to call her over the net. I think that's an accurate call, a correct call. As Branham looks so slightly confused. Coach Heather Cooper doesn't know what the call is. I think there could be an argument. Well, Coach Cooper electing not to. Usually when someone's over the net, it's potentially interfering with a set or and Coach Cooper getting a bit of a clarification. Heather Cooper, 6th year here. Again, she's a special education teacher. As Leigh up by 1. Mapes. Doug. What a play by Varvel, who keeps from running into the table, and that is upsetting when you lay out like that.
Good job of her to avoid a collision. I thought she was, you know, had the potential to hit her head on the
yeah,
small
she
table
almost
by
ran
the
into the
PA.
PA announcer, Bob Holmes, tonight, doing a good job as always here at the Bruin Den. Varvel. Chased down by Branham. Hean sends it over. Free ball for the Longhorns. Mapes blocked. Varvel in on the action.
Right out, point Branham.
Yeah, she was all over that one. Varvel was
returns number 12, Brianna
no
Francis.
chance of getting it past her on that one. Now she comes up to serve.
Brianna Varvel, serve.
Mapes goes again. Great court awareness by Sydney Voss. Saw the open hole and put it again where the Longhorns weren't, as Varvel has having a seat to tie her shoe. We're all knotted up at 7.
She's hoping her shoe is knotted up. Shoelace, at least.
Excellent point. Safety first. Mapes with a better swing. Good dig. And on fire, Sydney Voss.
So impressed with her. Just a sophomore, 5'7" outside hitter, but she really plays with a sense of authority and a very strong court awareness.
Branham in the lead. And we see Ashley Garland, the senior, changing her mind mid-stride. And it's Leigh with the serve, all tied up at 8, as Jonathan's really wanting to rotate into the front row. So my apologies to Serena Bonafide, the Librero, and I believe I called her Shapiro earlier. Those two share very good
Serena Bonafide
passing and serving, as Bonafide serving, knotted up at 8 and causing some havoc with her serve.
Kind of a knuckler on the way she serves the ball. She kind of died out there.
Shank and serve receive, and as you just said, another example of the strong serving by Bonafide.
Yeah, 3-year varsity player, as you mentioned before. She seems to be a serving specialist, if as well as libero defensive.
Voss is the go-to hitter for Branham. Chance to tie it here.
Boy, she's really
Number
impressive,
6,
huh?
Ashley Garland, serving.
There's Varvel tying her shoes once again. Jonathan's back into the match and finding the left back corner for the side out.
Side out, Leigh.
It's about as perfectly placed as you can find. And, you know, I
Leigh
think
returns, number 3,
she's definitely
Scarlett
going for
Branham.
that corner. I mean, that wasn't an accident. She
Look
seems to really
close.
know where she's
Serving.
going with each of those hits. That's 8 kills for her tonight.
Close serve. Varvel. Right side attack by Viner. He in with the dig. Free ball for the Longhorns. Nope. Passing or a bumping error. We saw so many free balls in the first set in particular. Both teams doing a better job moving their feet and at least swinging away on that third touch. As Voss goes for it there. Jonathan's. Down the line, good dig by Bonafide. Heon to telegraphing with that dump attempt. Sharp angle, pass by Voss. And well done indeed by Casey Stanley, the middle. You know, we saw Lindsay start off so well, and she has not seen a lot of time, and right now she has been called into action as Lauren Hogan will have a seat. So I was wondering if there was some sort of injury with Lindsay. I don't believe the quality of her play had diminished, but nevertheless, she is back in here in set number 3. And that is communication problems for Leigh.
And that was Stanley. That was one of the first times she's had an opportunity to hit. You know, that wasn't just, you know, off the net or something like that. So made the most of it.
Jonathan's. Varvel got her mitt in there for the touch.
Again, going for that deep corner.
I think this is the kind of match that
Leigh returns, number 13,
makes teams
Megan Kirschman.
excited about the sport. Here it is, the final match in the first round of a 2-round round robin in the Mount Hamilton division. Jonathan's reaches back. Excellent pass by Varvel. Right side attack and through the hands of the Librero. Branham is within 1. You understand what I'm saying? I think this is so much. It appears both teams are really enjoying themselves.
I think what I don't know if this is along your meeting, but you know, there's room for people to make mistakes, and they still, you know, the team. It's not the end of the world. You know, both teams are able to kind of make up for those things, and I think that is part of what makes it a more entertaining match. Is the fact that you don't have to be perfect. The players know that. But they can just go out and just let loose and just play volleyball.
4 hits called on Branham as the swing did not clear. Leigh returns Shapiro and Mapes into the front row. Shapiro to serve. Her team up 14.
Kendra Shapiro, serve.
14 serving 12. As Librero looks at Viner. Leigh's third ace. I understand kind of what's going on with our Branham Librero. Megan Fulcher, a number of times she's tried to be the quarterback. Excuse me, not Viner, Varvel. She's tried to be the quarterback and she's been shut down a bit. Usually it's the Librero running the show on the back line. As Mapes, she's gotten a lot of sets tonight.
Yeah, she's become a really big option for Leigh, and she's really coming through. Only a sophomore.
Shapiro serve. Branham needs to side out to stay close here. Midway point of set 3. And that's just bad luck. The overhanging banners here at Branham playing havoc.
They seem to be more of a problem on the Leigh side. I'm not sure if their passes seem to be up higher. There's been several plays where it's hit those banners.
Stanley serve, it's a good one, but handled well and serve receive. Mapes. Doug coming over, reaches back, chance for the Bruins. Shapiro with the dig. Looked like Hunter Pence trying to find that shot to right field. The swirling wind of today, I think, confused her teammates.
You know, and that's going to happen, I think, when you've got, you know, players kind of coming in and out. There's going to be some communication issues.
Right side attack. It's a good one by Charlotte Viner, the 5'10" opposite.
Leigh returns number 5, Emma Ornetto.
I think she made up. She was involved in that communications error on the previous point, but she made up for it with that nice kill there. Make it 17-14.
Onetta into serve and set. Varvel. She's been quiet. The top spin brings it in.
Timeout, Branham.
They're going to close score. Kind of a key set. It's really kind of a time where you really got to grind and get these points any way you can.
Megan Kurtzman with a kill from the right side for Leigh as the Longhorns jump out by 3. Jessica Maris, third-year varsity player, into the front row as Kurtzman to serve. Lindsay with the pass. Free ball for the Longhorns. Left side attack by Maris. And just bad luck as Fulcher was able to get the dig. Varvel took it on the chin.
Megan Kurtzman serving.
And Heather Cooper wants to call a timeout. Her team trailing 19-15 in the third set. We're all even at 1 set apiece. And we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Councilmember Donald Rocha for his generous donation. Without his support of high school athletics in this CreaTV broadcast, we would not be able to bring you this exciting Mount Hamilton division match between Leigh and Branham, both schools in Councilmember Donald Rocha's district. Thank you so much, Councilmember Donald Rocha, for your support of high school sports. Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. We kicked off our broadcast season last week with Valley Christian defeating St. Francis. We're going to return for more volleyball this fall, but we're also going to get out to the gridiron. Looking forward to bringing you some high school football in upcoming weeks here on CreaTV Sports. Make sure you can stay up to date on where we'll be by visiting at CreaTV Sports on Twitter, following us on Twitter as Out of the Timeout. Leigh serving 19-15. Varvel with a big time swing. Coach Cooper loved it.
I think that was the one that she's been waiting to uncork the entire match.
Leigh returns number 12.
That one was lethal.
Brianna Francis returning for Leigh as Varvel breaks out the jump serve. Great spear by Francis to keep it alive. Free ball for Branham. Hean has to send it over. Pinball Wizard doesn't work out for Branham as Leigh really seems to be in sync here in set number 3, especially with Jonathan's returning to the front row.
Number 6, Serena Bonafide. Bonafide serving.
The Bonafide serve. Heon again has to send it over. Jonathan's. She's racking them up, isn't she?
The left-hander, yeah, she's got, well, let's see, got her with 9 so far, but she's, you know, and she's definitely a difference maker. You could see that, and especially in crunch time here.
Heans again has to dump. Great casual swing from Branham to keep it playable. And just out by Leigh as Branham trying to climb back here, mount the comeback as Garland serving her team trailing by 4. Bonafide with the pass. Jonathan's block gets a piece of it. Garland with the pass. And a hitting error by Maris. Branham 3 points away from tying up this 3rd set. Back-to-back hitting errors by Maris.
All of a sudden, Branham's right back in it again. That's the thing. Neither one of these teams is willing to give up. You know, they're both fighting and clawing for everything.
Jonathan's.
Lady Bruin.
Coach Largo. Sorry, Coach Largo's been on his feet. I think he's been imploring his setter to get Jonathan's involved as Branham with a chance to tie it. Heon. You knew how that was going to go, and that is because Sydney Voss is on fire.
Yeah, I was waiting for her to get an opportunity in the front row because, and the fact that it just got a beautiful set from Heon. Nice ability to take a few steps and take just a nice swing.
Varvel after Branham ties it at 21. 5th service error of the match for the Lady Bruins. As Laura Claude into serve and set her team up by 1. Punched up. Bonafide with the pass coming over. And they're going to have to say into the net on Jonathan's. Branham helping the referee make the call. Branham knocks it up at 22.
Yeah, Jonathan's knew right off the bat. Just wasn't able to be put in a good position to get a nice hit off that.
Heon is serving. She's done a good job tonight. Bump set. Varvel takes it. Played an out ball by Leigh. Maris looking to redeem herself. She's had some hitting errors here. When you need the money, head to the bank. Sydney Voss.
And that was all set up by Megan Fulcher. A nice pass and serve receive that really set up the set and then the eventual hit.
And service errors by Branham late in this 3rd set. Horrible time for it. As Leigh ties it up at 23. Maris serving. Heon has to bump set. Shoved over. Maris behind the 10-foot line. And that's going to be a lift called on Leigh. Set point for Branham.
And Voss is the go-to girl here for Branham Bruins.
As LeBoy returns in the back row for Leigh. Branham trailed for most of the set. Voss serving. Right side attack by Leigh. Shoved over. Hitting error, Branham. And no, we're going to wait. A bit of a delay here as our 2 referees we'll converse. A linesperson may be called into this conversation. We're either tied up at 24 or have a do-over, and floor captains being called over. And we're going to replay the point.
Crucial point in the match. Boy, Branham thought they had it won. Thought they had that set won, and you know, pivotal point here.
So once again, 24, serving 23. After the do-over, Jonathan's in there on the line to tie it up at 24.
Wow.
Not the most confident of swings from Jonathan.
Also, Hannah Mapes returns.
As Shapiro, remember, win by 2. As Coach Largo having a discussion with referee number 2. Shapiro to serve. Farvell hitting error. Set point for Leigh.
Point Leigh.
Maybe a little nerves there on the serve receive, letting the ball go up her arms, and
Mapes. Fulcher sending it over. They're going to have to call a lift on Branham or into the net. A number of things. Heartbreak for Branham. That is a tough break. Looked like they had captured the set. And it was Leigh that came back. David Kiefer, we're going to go to a break, but come back and discuss that set. Leigh takes a 2-1 match lead after capturing the third set, 26-24. More from the Bruin Den in San Jose in just a moment.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Councilmember Donald Rocha for his generous contribution towards the coverage of high school sports. It's because of our contributors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
Highlights from set number 3. Leigh really dominated in the early going.
yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where, I mean, they got a nice lead, but Branham somehow found a way back. One of those kind of back and forth things kind of near the end as it evolved. But I think we saw like a couple really nice plays from Hannah Mapes of Leigh, and then also from Sydney Voss from Branham. And when it came down to it, there's Voss. It looked like Branham was going to pull it out. And I think that was the question. You know, there was a great play there by Casey Stanley. And just a lot of confusion, I think, near the end with Branham thinking that they had pulled out the set, having the point be replayed, and then with Leigh eventually pulling it out. But some really good plays both ways, just gritty volleyball. And you know, we'll see if that ends up being that pivotal point that sways the match to Leigh, because going up 2-1 with the emotion for both teams and fighting so hard, I think that's a big advantage for Leigh.
Leigh has lost their last 2 matches, and in fact, the last match they lost in 5 sets to Evergreen Valley. They've had a number of matches go to 5 sets this year, and I think head coach Largo would really like to see more intensity from his team. That's what he told us going into the match. How do you rate their intensity in this match?
I think it's evolved as the match has gone on. I think we saw a little bit of tentative play early on, but I don't see that as being a problem. I think some of the miscommunication that maybe is affecting Leigh at times could be maybe part of that, maybe a lack of intensity, and not being willing to just say, hey, I'm going to take this ball if it's anywhere near me, that type of thing. So that could be part of it. But I think they're playing. I think both sides are playing pretty gritty style of volleyball right now, and just kind of getting the ball over any way they can and fighting for every point.
These two schools, such a rivalry, in fairly close proximity to one another. And in fact, earlier this season, Branham football beat Leigh for the first time since 2005. Branham with plenty to celebrate. Lee's had very good teams over the years as the Longhorns to serve right to left, up 2-1 over the host team, the Branham Lady Bruins.
When I think of some of the history of these schools, for Branham, I think of Amber Kaufman, who was an incredible volleyball player here, played at Hawaii, helped them to a Final Four, and also was a high jump star. I believe was an NCAA champion, as well as a volleyball star. And she was probably the best athlete that Branham has ever had, along with Gary Radnich, the broadcaster, was an amazing basketball player in his days here.
That's exactly right. And again, a very unfriendly ceiling for this Leigh Longhorn squad.
While we're mentioning alumni, I have to mention Leigh's Russell Simmons, the Doobie Brothers, probably Mr. Doobie Brother, probably the most famous member of that band, is a Leigh graduate.
Got out Leigh. Leigh returns number 1, Natalia LeBoy.
LeBoy in to serve. Leigh up 2-1.
Serving.
Lindsay, Doug. More down the line hitting here in the early going of this fourth set, and the Leigh junior varsity and freshman teams very excited by what they see.
Oh, I have to change. I said Russell Simmons.
I know.
I was thinking of football. There's an Oklahoma State coach named Russell Simmons. It was Patrick Simmons, obviously, is the Doobie Brothers star.
I was going to write you a note, and then I thought you... did you watch the Seattle Seahawks game, or... As Branham, it's essential, obviously, trailing 2-1. I just really feel, despite all the momentum shifts, it's essential for Branham to come out strong here in the early going of this fourth set.
You don't want to let the end of that previous set affect how you play at the beginning of this fourth set, because that would be, you don't want to feel sorry for yourself and then get into a hole, and then by the time you're ready to really start playing, then you've got too much ground to make up. Fortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. 3-all tie early on, so we'll see how Branham has been affected by that previous finish in the third set.
Fulcher shoves it over. 4 hits called on Branham. Coach Cooper asking for an explanation.
Hannah Mapes returns for Leigh.
And Mapes, she's seen a lot of swings tonight.
Kendra Shapiro serving.
That had some thunder on it. A lightning clap.
That was definitely some emphasis placed on that one.
Returns for Branham. Casey Stanley serving.
Again, contrary to what Branham can't get, they have to keep that emotion going after probably a disappointing finish, but Leigh also can't get overconfident or let down at any point either. So interesting to see how both teams react.
Varvel, her team needs her. She delivers.
Point, Branham.
And Coach Largo wants a timeout. His team trailing by just one, but either he feels his team needs a break or he wants to change something. He doesn't like what he's seeing, as we take this opportunity to give a big thanks to tonight's sponsor, Pacific Office Automation. Thank you so much for your support of this broadcast. We really appreciate you supporting high school athletics, especially here in the Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Hamilton Division. We know we wouldn't have wanted to miss tonight's special event here for the Best Buddies Autism Awareness Night, and also this terrific rivalry match between the Leigh Longhorns and Branham Lady Bruins. I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. We've had some good ones on CreaTV Sports this year. A big thanks to our scheduler and producer, Louis Costa, for picking such great matches to bring you on CreaTV Sports.
You know, Matt Largo was really emphatic during that timeout, very emotional, kind of pounding his fist. I think he was really talking about their defense and their coverage and making the right decisions, but he was really the most emotional I've seen this entire match during one of those timeouts.
Players are hitting the floor tonight. Varvel couldn't catch up with it as Leigh takes the 6-5 lead. Varvel goes off speed, the roll shot. We haven't seen too much off speed or roll shots tonight. That one was very effective.
That might be her second one that I can remember tonight. She's got 12 kills tonight. By far the leader for the match.
Vulture with a dig. And into the net. Called on Branham.
Side out Leigh. Leigh returns number 12.
A lot of substitutions tonight. A lot of players from each team contributing.
Yeah, I think Lee's very open about changing, bringing new players in. They've been doing that quite a bit. Matt Largo with a deep bench.
Service error, the third from Leigh.
Varvel,
Varvel back to serve. She would like to continue her playing career in college, looking at schools in Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and in the Southwest. Hasn't determined where yet. Mapes, the sophomore, swings away, and that corners. Those middles for Leigh have got the memo from their coach. Go for the open court, go for the corners.
It's been very effective. Yeah, very good placement the entire match.
Branham would like a little more of Sydney Voss, the super soft.
Yeah, she's been really effective tonight. She's going to be a force, I think, in the next couple of years as she continues to grow and maybe becomes a leader. You could see these qualities in her even at this age. Miscommunication. I think, we talk about the tentative part. That's where I see the tentative nature of Leigh, is just these communication gaps and people just not going for it.
Well, Aneto certainly drawn off that court to set, but she didn't deliver a hittable set for her team, and that's going to be 4 hits on Leigh.
But I guess I would like to see people at least make the attempt to get to these balls.
Longhorns no stranger to 5-set matches this year. Are we destined for one? Branham up 10-8 in set 4, trailing 2 sets to 1. As you see, Maris with the kill, and that will return Viner to set.
Branham returns number 12, Megan Fulcher.
Oh, pardon me, Viner into hit. Claude back to serve and set. Jonathan's. Jonathan's goes again and trickles off the top of the net and wide. Point Branham.
You mentioned earlier about college options for Varvel, and we were talking to Heather Cooper earlier about Hannah Heon, and she, although she may not be playing volleyball in college, she's applying for some, interested in really some of the top schools in the country, exceptional student.
Yeah. And it's into the net, called on Leigh. So Branham with Heon serving. Again, her little sister, Holly Heon, plays libero at times. In fact, she played libero in that Westmont win. 5'5" freshman.
Yeah, we haven't seen her tonight, but Coach Cooper said that she was really maybe the vital part. She was one of the best players on the court in delivering that win for Branham, that big upset.
Branham with 3 freshmen, 4 sophomores on their squad. Again, Leigh with just 1 sophomore, and that's Mapes. No freshman. Varvel with the dig in the back row. Here comes Voss. Doug coming over. Voss has to backhand. Jonathan's. Voss there for the coverage. She wants it back. And that's going to be wide.
I think there's, you can see some of these communication breakdowns, but I think some of them should be solved very easily. Like if there's a player and the libero, the ball's coming between them, the libero should be the one to get to it. Or if the ball's up in the air and the setter and a hitter are underneath it, you got to give it to the setter. Those are some of the basic things that I think both teams need to kind of understand.
And I'm sorry, David, I just wanted to say it appeared with the call, the linesperson call, that Voss had just served an ace. Our first overruled tonight by the referee, service error instead. And that is the 7th service error by Branham, as Leigh trailing by 2. Varvel. So please continue your point. I completely agree. I think especially on the Branham side, Fulcher has played well, she's passed well, but in some ways her commands in the back row are going unheeded.
Yeah, maybe that's just part of players becoming leaders as they develop, but just to be more vocal in those situations.
And covering the swing of Megan Kurtzman.
Number 5, Emma Oneto.
As Onetta into serve and set. Her team down by 2, but up 2 sets to 1 in this best 3 out of 5 match. Reversed over. Lindsay.
Kind of what we were talking about earlier. I think it is a two-way street. The other players have to recognize that this is the libero's ball or this is the setter's ball, and let's get out of the way. Because I think we saw another situation right there where Fulcher should have gone to Fulcher, but the other player took it, and they've got to recognize that as well.
Yes. And that looked like a very hittable set for Mapes. And I think she quickly takes responsibility for not giving a full swing, as Branham stretching its advantage to 4 points in this set and make it 5 after the ace by Lindsay, 4th of the match for the Lady Bruins.
And then just one more part about that discussion is that, then when your libero does not get the ball on the initial serve receive, then all of a sudden now your whole offense is out of whack before it even gets started, So it's not only vital for those players to do what they're supposed to be doing, but by not letting them do it, then all of a sudden your team is not at its best.
Coach Largo all over Mapes, or at least trying to give her a pep talk, as Lindsay with the 8th service error for Branham. As Leigh makes some substitutions. Coach Largo still instructing Mapes. Coach Largo, a Gilroy High graduate. He was
played volleyball for the Mustangs.
Yeah, he was a setter and then went on to set for San Jose State University's Division II club team as Branham letting it fly. Farvell with a nice smile. And Coach Cooper for Branham, also setter. Set at Pioneer, went to San Jose State as well. She did not play volleyball there. Now a teacher here as well at Branham. Her program and called wide. The Leigh not liking the calls they've been getting here in the late going.
So Branham in great position now at 20-13 and serving. Great chance to even up the match.
Lindsay sending it over, overpass. Better pass from Lindsay. Boss tips it over. What a spear by Leigh. Very small lineup for Leigh at the moment. Played off the net by Branham, shoved over. What a point. Voss. Played by Varvel. Varvel asks for it behind the 10-foot line. Pays off. The long point goes the way of Branham. And Coach Largo asking how many timeouts he has. He wants to call when he does. His team trailing 21-13 and in danger of being forced to another decisive 5th set. It's been a season of 5-set matches for Leigh as we take this opportunity to thank City Council member Donald Rocha for his generous donation to this broadcast. Thank you so much, Council member Rocha, for your support of high school athletics, Leigh athletics, Branham athletics, and CreaTV Sports bringing you this rivalry match. I'm not sure, this match has dragged on, or not dragged on, but gone on, and it's a school night, but very few people have left this gymnasium, David Kiefer.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned how our stop last week was St. Francis Valley Christian, 2 great programs and obviously 2 great schools, but this atmosphere here is really second to none. I'm really impressed with the crowd support, how loud they are, just the enthusiasm in the gym.
I know our crew certainly appreciates the hospitality and the fine snack bar here at Leigh as an ace for Varvel. 5th of the match for Branham, and Leigh makes a substitution as Kurtzman comes in. We'll head to the back row. 22-13, Branham leads. Punched up by Lindsay. Reversed over, free ball for the Longhorns. Mapes. In there, this time it's the left back corner for the kill. That has to feel good for her. I think she's had some frustrating moments here in this set 4, but a outright kill there as Leigh sides out. Coach Largo checking who his next server is and what that means for his rotation.
I'm getting ahead of ourselves here, but talking about how these teams have done in 5-set matches, Leigh has played 4 of their past 5 matches have gone to 5 sets. So they're definitely experienced. They've gone 2-2, but their past 2 5-set matches have both been losses. Branham's only gone to 5 twice this year, and both have been losses.
Jonathan's back into the front row for Leigh, down by 8. And she's there, but Branham almost playing that off the net.
Serving Serena Bonafide.
Bonafide serves again. Back set. That sharp cut shot pays off as Garland with the kill. She's back to serve now.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest hit in the world, but it was very effective just along the line there by Garland.
Bonafide with the pass. Great read by Heon. That is the anticipation of a senior.
Yeah, especially going against a 6'2" player who's got a huge size advantage.
Set point. Point for a 5th set. Good dig by Bonafide. And Heon with the kill. Of course, this was going to happen when two teams so evenly matched face off. We will step away and return with a 5th and decisive set. We've got a battle in the Bruin Den, the Longhorns and the Bruins. A winner will be crowned next.
Don't forget that you can see this showcase event.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Pacific Office Automation for their generous sponsorship of our coverage of high school sports. It's because of our sponsors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
Let's take a look back at, oftentimes, David Kiefer, a lull in set number 4, and it was the set for the taking for Branham.
Yeah, you know, they really bounced back really well from the losing in really disappointing fashion in that 3rd set, and we were kind of wondering how they would react, but the Bruins really came through, kind of had the advantage throughout, even though it was fairly close. Branham always seemed to have a little bit of the edge. So although Leigh brought it even at 22-22, it was as late as 23-23, 24, or excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong one here, but it was Branham had the advantage that they just kept Leigh off balance long enough where they never really were in it. And then kind of some key plays by a variety of players from Branham. Where the difference, Marvell with a big hit there. One of her 14 kills so far.
Years are a time of heightened social and emotional development, and can be
Leigh had their moments too, but in the end it was really Branham's set to win. So especially the way they were able to kind of take a close set and really kind of push the limit down the stretch and really extend that lead. That was the difference.
So here we are, set number 5. Branham playing in front of the home crowd. Leigh, I'm sure, coming up short, sick and tired of coming up short in 5th set matches. And before you answer or give your prediction, folks, don't forget to join us next Friday night, our first football game of the season. It's going to be a good one. Andrew Hill at Yerba Buena. Start time, kickoff 7 p.m. High school football up next week on CreaTV Sports. Friday, October 24th. It's homecoming for Yerba Buena. A chance to see Andrew Hill at Yerba Buena. Make sure you tune in.
So what do you think is who has the edge at this point?
Branham certainly played set 4 with a lot more energy than Leigh. Leigh kept going to their middle attack with Mapes, hoping she'd play her way back into this match. I think they're going to have to look around for more options if she comes out cold here in the 5th set. Heon serving, first to 15, win by 2. Looking for a W in Mount Hamilton division play. Heon to Voss, overhits, point Leigh.
Thought there might have been a touch, but I think she just mishit it on that one.
Jessica Maris serving.
Maris serve up 1-0. Heon goes dump. Right side attack goes line, and what a way for Leigh to come out swinging. Charlotte Viner, Heon, who has had to dumped so many times tonight because of bad passing. Had a great pass there. You would have liked to see her go for a set to one of her options. Mira serves again. Leigh up 2-0. Voss, tentative. And hitting error as Branham sides out.
You know, Branham finished that previous set with an 11-3 run and then dropped the first 2 points of this one. You want to see if they can kind of carry that strong play into this 5th set.
Jonathan's loses the joust, but what adjustments by Leigh's defense. Here comes Varvel. Line read well, but unplayable.
Nice swing. You know, it's going to be interesting to see if a player can really step up and kind of carry the team, whether that might be Varvel or whether it could be Jonathan's for Leigh. But this is kind of that time where you see the best players really kind of do that.
Yeah, you see the double block up on Jonathan's. The block has not been effective tonight. They've actually had a kind of gone one-on-one with her. They put 2 up. It doesn't matter. Jonathan's with the kill as Shapiro back into serve for Leigh. Kendra Shapiro's done a good job tonight. Varvel. Again, the athleticism, but look at the heart of the Longhorns. We're still alive. Fulcher, free ball. Mapes. Dug by Heon, coming over. Back set to Viner, and down the line by Charlotte Viner.
Looked like the set really caught them off guard. I think they expected it to go the other side of the floor because they just weren't prepared for to defend that.
4-2 leads. Lindsay, nobody home. Side out Branham.
Do you see this as being a tight one both ways? It's hard to visualize somebody getting an advantage of 4 or 5 points.
What a serve. Right side attack by Viner. She's hot right now. Coming off. Heon does a great job. Varvel cannot collect it. Hits the antenna. Point Leigh.
Point Leigh. Leigh returns number 5, Emma Oneto.
Viner has a seat as Oneto in to serve and set. Varvel. Read by Mapes. Hitting error. Branham within 1.
That was tough for Branham too. Varvel looked like the set was just a little bit too far in front of her and she wasn't able to really get much on it. But Branham got the point anyway.
Setter has to travel. Played an out ball. Here comes Varvel, left side. Dug. Run down. Leigh gets the scrappy defense award tonight. And then comes back with a hitting error by Kurtzman, and we're all knotted up at 5. Coach Matthew Largo wants to call a timeout, I think to give his players a breather as much as to settle them down. Set 5, tied at 5. Couldn't ask for a better scenario, and one reason we're able to bring you this exciting volleyball match in Mount Hamilton Division play is because of the generosity of Councilmember Donald Rocha. Thank you so much, San Jose City Councilmember Donald Rocha, for your generous donation to this broadcast. We know the folks at both Branham and Leigh High School appreciate it. They certainly have been so appreciative and hospitable, welcoming to all of our CreaTV sports crew. A big thanks to, of course, Heather Cooper and the staff here at Branham High School.
It's always fun to come to Branham. And this is a great reason why. It was some good volleyball, too. And you just sense the energy level for both teams has just risen a notch.
Branham looking to break this tie. Here comes Varvel off speed, and it pays off. Very deceptive swing by Greta Varvel, the key leader on this Branham squad.
That's 16 kills for Varvel tonight. Match leader.
And as they were untimely before, service errors in set number 15, set number 5, certainly that 9th service error for Branham, as we're all knotted up at 6. Kurtzman, again, the best server according to our head coach, in to serve for Leigh. And Varvel has to set, called on the illegal set, and Leigh breaks the tie, 7-6.
Well, let's see if this is kind of a key point in the match, I think, for Leigh, to see what they can do with Kurtzman serving, see if they can get a little bit of a run going.
Varvel, her best swing of the night, called long. I thought the topspin brought it in, but Leigh takes a 2-point lead. Played, even though bench called out. Mapes, block gets up. Fulcher's pass couldn't be run down, and Heather Cooper stays in her chair. Leigh leading 9-6.
I would think that another point would require a timeout, but we'll see.
Overhead pass. Here comes Varvel. Number 17.
Yep. You know, that was really a tough one earlier. I think that could have gone either way. The one that was right at the edge of the court there for the line, I think that would have made a difference there. Would you know, so would have been even probably at that point, but Leigh with the advantage still.
Pass by Lindsay. Mapes reaches back, hitting error. Branham within 1. Branham's head coaches Heather Cooper and Kara Brown. Very calm here in this 5th set. Branham has not played a lot of 5-set matches this year.
It's only their 3rd one, and they're looking for their first victory in one.
Chance to tie it at 9. Pass by Varvel. Voss blocked. Goes again. Pass by Shapiro. Here comes Mapes. Pass by Fulcher. Keon again. Going to the well too often, in my opinion. Keon. Tight set. Mapes hitting error, and Branham has tied it at 9.
Point Branham.
Tough breaks for Leigh.
And Lee's going to call a timeout here. Coach Largo calling a timeout.
Yeah, you know, tough breaks for Leigh, but you see Branham is like just so close to really unleashing some really strong hitting, and either their sets or their decisions are just like a tiny bit off, and they're not able to get the hits off that they want, but they're very, very close. They're right there. And I think it's fortunate that Lee's making some of its own mistakes that's aiding Branham's cause, but I could see those plays starting to come together for Branham, and because they're there, you know, the opportunities are there, and I think if they weren't, that would be a cause for worry. But
these two will meet again, the last regular season match of the year at Leigh on November 6th. This one to remember. Varvel serving, looking to break this 9-9 tie in set number 5. Mapes for the kill, point Leigh, as Jonathan's returns to the front row.
Yeah, big hit by Mapes. Get that confidence back for the Longhorns. I think that's what they need.
Bonifidi. Voss with authority. Dug by Bonifidi. Narcissus. Dion. Here comes Jonathan's. dug by Varvel. Free ball for the Longhorns. Jonathan's going for the line. She gets it. Leigh fans love it. Looking as cool as a cucumber as Branham calls a timeout, trailing 11-9 in set number 5. These two schools, a lot of history. Branham opened up in 1967 and then reopened in August 1999, while Leigh, that school opened in 1962. That's quite some years to develop a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, both from South San Jose. Some good enthusiasm from the Branham fans. The wave, you don't see a wave too often at high school volleyball.
No.
But
and here it comes at 11-9. The home team trailing in set number 5. Leigh serves again. Free ball for the Longhorns. And the Branham, I can't believe that point went their way. Looked like Sydney Lindsay stumbled a bit. But Garland's serving. Chance to tie it up at 11. Jonathan's with an exclamation point. That's the most animated I've seen her tonight.
very decisive, well-placed, hard hit. It could be a turning point. We'll see. A lot of volleyball left.
Float in to serve and set. Viner returns to the front row. Leigh up by 2. Varvel runs it down. Heon reverses it over. No! And Heon on her back. Everything but over.
Gosh, you know, that net can be very cruel. You played tennis. I think you've experienced that a few times.
Yes, I did. As Leigh with the service error. If they had won that point, it would have been match point. Leigh is only the 4th service error of the match, and Heon, the senior, the veteran, the leader, back to serve. Her team trailing 13-11. Right side attack, hitting error, no touch. A chance for Hannah Heon.
This is who Branham wants to be serving right now in this situation. The match on the line.
Floater serve. Jonathan's gonna get it. Match point thanks to the junior Brooke Jonathan.
The players that step up in the key situations. I think this is kind of maybe a key match for Jonathan's and her development. This is huge for her.
The junior Megan Kurtzman to serve. Match point Leigh. Tentative from Branham. Right side attack. Hitting error, still match point, but Branham with a chance to tie it.
Bruins somehow stay alive.
LeBoy returns to the back row for Leigh, and Voss, who has been extraordinary clutch in this match, to serve. Jonathan's. Pass by Voss. Here comes Varvel. Block is there. Fulcher keeps it alive. Fulcher keeps it alive, but an illegal set called on Branham. Heartbreak for the Lady Bruins. Leigh wins a 5-set match after losing so many this season. 15-13 in the 5th set. Coach Cooper can't believe it. In my humble opinion, that was an accurate call.
I'd like to thank you for coming to the best.
But you know what? They didn't complain. They accepted it, and that's what champions do, whether they end up on the winning side or the losing side.
Thank you for
Branham had a chance to win that 3rd set, it appeared they had won it. The referees had conferred, called a replay to play the point again. Leigh went on to take that third set. We were never given an explanation of why that point was replayed. However, heartbreak for Branham, but what a match, David Kiefer.
Well, you know, I guess when a match goes down to those types of rulings, you know it's a great match because they are so even and every little point is so important. So in that regard, you know, I guess it was appropriate in a way just because, I mean, neither team deserved to lose.
Leigh improves to 500 overall, 8-8 overall, 3-4 in league play, and Branham moves to 10-6 overall and 3-4 in league play. Let's take a look back at this fifth and decisive set.
Well, it looked like Branham got off to a pretty strong start. Varvel with some nice hitting, and you know, it's really I think the two players that you would expect to come through in a clutch situation really did with Varvel and Jonathan's. So I think that was something that we were looking forward to, and it really came through, I thought. And some good enthusiasm, great energy by both teams. You know, Branham never quite able to really catch Leigh. Leigh always seemed to have a little bit of an edge, a point or two lead. But I think Leigh was kind of its own worst enemy, and at times, and Branham was able to take advantage and stay in the hunt, and really, you know, make it just an amazing ending, an amazingly close match, and just a tough one for either team to lose.
But what will this do for Leigh's confidence going forward?
Well, the fact that they've been in these really tight, high-strung situations and they've pulled this one out, I think is great for, you know, their confidence, for a young team. And I think the fact that this league is there's so much parity in this league, I think they're going to be involved in probably some more of these 5-set matches, and I think this is going to really help them down the road and maybe make a big difference for, like, say, a CCS playoff berth.
Branham played well this match, but tightened up here in this fifth set, not swinging away at full force. Varvel, however, that was a key block on her again. That was called an illegal set, and you see Branham react as well as Leigh. I mean, just an amazing, amazing match.
Yeah, I mean, I think we expected a close match, but I think it was more than we could ever hope for. Just one of the best volleyball matches that I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. As you see the final score there, Leigh winning 25-17, 19-25, 26-24, 15-25, and then 15-13. On behalf of our entire CreaTV sports crew, we want to thank all the folks here at Branham High School as well as Leigh High School for a very special night here. The Best Buddies Autism Awareness Match. The crowd certainly treated to a wonderful, moving tribute to this club, and also one of the best volleyball matches we've ever had on CreaTV Sports. On behalf of my partner, David Kiefer, I'm Kirsten Fairchild. So long from San Jose. We've got football for you next week. Make sure you tune in to CreaTV Sports Channel 28 and at www.creatvsj.org for Friday night at 7 p.m. Good night, everyone.